going on, Sactown viewers? I'm Ray,
I'm Jared.
and welcome to the first episode of the Sactown podcast.
Hey guys, I'm Jared, man. I'm 16 years old. I go to Center High School. Big time Niners fan. Been watching football since I was like 8, man. Been a Niners fan since day one. Jimmy G is the man. Basketball, I'm a Warriors fan. Been a Warriors fan since 2008. A little AAU team. My team was the Warriors, so I've liked them ever since. I've been a fan of Monte Ellis, Andrew Bogut. You got all them guys. Steph Curry's my favorite player. Kevin Durant, they all cool. A lot of base sports, man. Base sports is everything. I go hard for the base sports, man. Everything is Niners and Warriors all day, man.
And I'm Ray. I'm a Niner fan as well. I've been a Niner fan since I was a youngin. Through thick and thin, I've always been a Niner fan, and I'm also a Clippers fan. Don't really have a good backstory for it, but I've been a Clippers fan for a while now, and I stick with my team. We are called the Sacktown No Sports Podcast because we're obviously from Sacktown. We got to rep it, even though we're not a Kings fans. We still like the Kings, but they're just our favorite team.
Bay Area, man.
Bay Area, man. That's a little bit about me.
All right, guys. So what we're going to be doing today is we're a sports podcast. We talk about sports. We go over sports. We provide sports info. Obviously, me and Ray aren't experts. We haven't been, we're not sports, analysts, or we're not on TV, but we've been watching sports forever. And we feel like we've accumulated enough knowledge to where that we can talk about sports and give people who don't watch sports an educated opinion about what we think goes on. So today, what we're going to be doing is me and Ray are going to be giving our 2019 NFL mock drafts. Just the first 10 teams. We're not going to be doing the first couple rounds. We're just going to start out slow and go with the first 10 picks of the draft. So you got the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Jets, the Raiders, the Buccaneers, the Giants, the Jaguars, the Lions, the Bills, and the Broncos. What we're going to do is we're going to go pick by pick. Ray's going to explain his pick and, why he chose it and stuff like that. I'm going to do my pick. Then we're going to go, chat back and forth and see what we do about it. And then at the end of the draft, we're going to explain our top 5 prospects in the draft, why we think they're great, how much success we'll have in the NFL, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So if you'd like to start, Ray, the floor is yours.
You did perfect on that, Jared. So with the first pick in the NFL draft, I have the Cardinals taking Kyler Murray. That shouldn't come as a surprise, as I do think Josh Rosen is a good quarterback, but I think he's a system quarterback, and I just don't think the Cardinals have the right system for him. So I think Kyler Murray is more like a Carson Wentz or maybe like a Drew Brees. He doesn't need the right system around him. He can make plays by himself. He's a playmaker. And I think with his ties with Cliff Kingsbury, I think is how you say his name?
Cliff Kingsbury. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, it's a good name. But I think, he was his coach once, and so I think he'll take him with the first pick in the draft. But we're not going to do trades in this draft, just to let you guys know. But I do think if they might trade down maybe with the Giants or the Dolphins if they get the right package and keep Rosen.
So with my first pick in the NFL draft, I again agree with Ray. I think I think the Cardinals are going to select Kyler Murray, 5'10" quarterback out of Oklahoma, 207. When I first was looking at Kyler Murray, I didn't like him as a prospect. I thought he was too short. I didn't know if he was committed to football because he was playing baseball for the Oakland A's, about to be on Oakland A's, Bay team. I didn't like him as a prospect. I thought he was too short, not strong. But then I started to look at some tape, and I realized he's a playmaker, like you said. Cliff Kingsbury is what I call a copycat coach. Everybody wants to have a Sean McVay, a Bill Belichick, Kyle Shanahan, coaches that have great offense. Of systems of offense, coaches that can make plays with the quarterback, running back, big plays, splash plays. I think Kyler Murray fits what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do with the Cardinals. I think that Josh Rosen should have given a better chance to be the franchise quarterback for the Cardinals, although the draft hasn't started yet, and they could trade down. They could select an edge rusher or offensive lineman help Rosen, which I think would be the smarter pick. I think Rosen is a safer quarterback. I think I disagree with you about some quarterback. I think that we haven't seen enough of Rosen to label him a system quarterback or not, but time will tell. The Cardinals can be in a great position if they can select Kyler Murray. They can trade Rosen, which would be some good value. They can trade, Giants maybe. The Giants are in the market for a quarterback. They can trade, they can trade Josh Rosen and get maybe second-round pick, maybe a late third-round pick. That's some good value. I think that Josh Rosen still has a lot to prove in this league. I think he could be a good starter. I don't think he'll ever reach the ceiling that Kyler Murray can get. No. And I think he's very talented. Good passer, great runner. I don't know how much success Kyler Murray will have. He's small, but he's a playmaker. Reminds me, I can't think of a quarterback that would remind him too much.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's a good one. I was thinking about Aaron Rodgers because of his playmaking ability, but that's it. Kyler Murray, man.
But you said something. You said Josh Rosen is a good runner. I had to stop you there.
No. I said Kyler Murray is a good runner. I disagree with you. I said that I don't think Josh Rosen is a system quarterback.
Okay.
I think he hasn't been given a fair chance, and the Cardinals have had a bad coach. They had that. Well, I can't remember his name.
Bruce Arians?
No, not Bruce Arians. The guy after Bruce Arians. I can't think of his name.
Really, he wasn't that good.
Anyways, floor is yours for the second pick.
All right. So, as a Niner fan, this guy shouldn't come as any surprise. The Niners love this guy. He's had some injuries. I guess you'll probably know who he is now. Nick Bosa. I think Nick Bosa is a much safer and better pick than Josh Allen is. I think Nick Bosa's technique is pretty not flawless, but it's similar to his brothers. And I think if he could stay healthy, he could be a top 5 passer in the league. And I think that's exactly what the Niners need.
Simple to the point. I like it. With my second pick to the Niners, I also have Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
When I first started watching college football, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Ed Oliver was a huge draft stock. Ed Oliver was top 5 in people's mock drafts.
He still might.
And I think he's really talented. From what I've heard, he has had some Aaron Donald type potential. But then actually you introduced me to Nick Bosa, and I heard Bosa, and I was like, Joey Bosa has a brother. Wow, that is scary. Joey Bosa is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL on the outside already, and he's still a baby to me. He's still a baby. Yes, but I have Nick Bosa. Not the most athletic guy in the world. He doesn't have a great first step. He's not tall. He's strong. He had a good combine. Not the greatest combine, but I think he has the best technique as an outside pass rusher and an edge rusher in the draft. I think that the Niners have been lacking on their pass rush since they had Alden Smith and all those guys. They had Alden Smith, Patrick Willis, Justin Smith, all those guys. DeForest Buckner had 10+ sacks last year for the Niners, or last season rather. And man, I love me some Buckner. I would like to see Buckner not getting double teamed every single play. And I was originally going to pick an interior defensive line for the Niners because the Niners do run a 4-3, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. But I think Nick Bosa will instantly become an impact pass rusher for the Niners, probably average 10+ sacks for his career. I do have one thing about Nick Bosa is that I did watch him play against some tackles that have long arms, and Nick Bosa does struggle against tackles that have long arms because he's not the most athletic guy. But you can't teach what he has. He has a good technique. I think he'll be an instant success in the NFL.
Hey, wait, can we stop the podcast real quick? Yep. Take a little break. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Sorry for the hold up, you guys.
Cool, it's good.
And so, what I wanted to add to you, I think taking an interior lineman is very. I wanted to do it as well. It's very appealing. but I really think that Armstead and Solomon Thomas could be really good interior linemen, and we could switch them out constantly. I think everyone's kind of losing hope on Solomon Thomas, but you got to understand he's super young, still third year in the league coming up, and he was an interior lineman at Stanford, and they moved him to outside. So I think going back to the inside this year, he's going to have a crazy season with Buckner and D Ford on the line. And
May I add to that real quick before we go on to your next pick?
Yep.
Niners have had no issues with tackling on run. We have great run defense.
Yeah.
We have Fred Warner. Nobody talks about him. Fred Warner is one of the best tacklers in the league as a rookie. Buckner, I don't even need to go over Buckner. Buckner's a hit. The reason why you lost me on Solomon Thomas is because while Armstead isn't a great pass rusher, actually he's far from it. He's a great run stopper.
Great.
He can be used. He can be put right next to Buckner. Have Armstead. You have a run stopper. Armstead's huge. He's 6'7", 270 pounds plus. He's huge. Yeah. Swat balls out of the air from small quarterbacks. Kyler Murray. You got Buckner on the inside. That's lethal. But
yeah,
I agree with you. I think an edge rusher is more useful in terms of the Niners scheme. I think that drafting a guy next to Buckner would be nice though, because Solomon Thomas, to me, I don't believe in him. He doesn't. To me, he's not very talented. He's not big. He's not. He's strong, but he's not like Myles Garrett or Myles Garrett or J.J. Watt or anything.
Yeah.
He's not very talented. When you're not talented, you have to bring production. He doesn't have production. So I think the Niners should move Solomon Thomas and keep Armstead. But they should keep Armstead, have Buckner, and then they could draft Bosa, and then they'll have a nice front seven.
Now I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
So as we know, the Cowboys, they offered DeMarcus Lawrence a $20 million per year contract for I don't know how many years it was, and he declined. He wants more money, and they can't offer him. So the Niners offered them Solomon Thomas and a third-round pick for DeMarcus Lawrence, but we had to pay for a contract. Would you do that? And possibly have a line of DeMarcus Lawrence, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, and D Ford. I mean, that's pretty nice.
In theory, I like it. I have some questions about Lawrence. He's a big-time contract. We're going to have to pay him a lot of money. Mm-hmm. The Niners are not building to win now. They want to win over the span of years. We're drafting young. I think that how old is Lawrence? 26 years old? 25?
He's still young. And for picking a guy that a bunch of people are giving up on, come on. With that, and then with that first pick in the draft, we could pick like Quentin Williams.
Yeah.
Just saying.
For me personally, I like Nick Bosa as a talent. I think he's more talented than every single person on our roster, except for outside of Kittle maybe or Buckner. You can't teach what Bosa has. DeMarcus Lawrence, from what I heard, is also a little bit of an Antonio Brown-ish type, character.
Okay.
I don't like that. I think the Niners should stick cheap and young. The reason why is because I think Nick Bosa will have more of an impact over his whole career to our team than Lawrence can do for a couple of years. And he's cheap. We're getting basically close to a star pass rusher right out of college for a cheap contract. That's my thought process. Floor is yours.
With the third pick in the draft, now this is the first pick that might be controversial, but I wanted to throw a shot in the dark with this one. It's our first podcast. I think it'd be pretty cool to talk and debate about this one. But as we know, the Jets just signed C.J. Mosley, right?
Yes.
Now I'm not sure what defense the Jets run, but I want to say I think it's a 4-3, if I'm not mistaken. Someone in the comments correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a duo of okay. So I know they re-signed Avery Williamson, and they're in trade talks with Darren Lee, but I think they take Devin White. I think it's a shot in the dark, but his talent is just so amazing. I think if they move Avery Williamson to outside linebacker, They could have one of the nastiest linebacking cores in the whole entire league, and I just think it would be a pretty good fit. He's from LSU, so it's not that close, but maybe a big market franchise like that would boost his confidence, and I think he could be like a Patrick Willis type of player for the Jets.
Okay. I'm gonna address your pick, and then I'll get to my pick. Actually, you know what? I thought I'd go my pick first. So I went a different route. I went to the third pick of my draft. I have the Jets selecting, in my opinion, the player with the most potential to have the most impact in this year's draft, rivaling Nick Bosa, is Quentin Williams.
Okay.
Defensive lineman, 6'3", 303 pounds, out of Alabama. I love this kid. This guy is just ridiculous. He is athletic. He is 303 pounds, so he might be unblockable in his first year. He's ridiculous. I've never seen a defensive tackle out of college move that fast, and it's crazy. I think the Jets, they lost Sheldon Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
They lost some guys on the defensive line. I don't think they have Muhammad Wilkerson anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. So their defensive line is gutted. I don't think a scheme fit with White and Mosley would be good. Think about it. They run a 4-3, which means they have 4 linemen, 3 linebackers, which means either White or Mosley would have to play outside linebacker and become a pass rusher. That is not White's game. White is a tackler. He's quick. He's fast. He's light on his feet. He will provide any team with a potentially great tackler. So I think that with Quentin Williams, you're getting what are you not getting? You're getting everything. You're getting a pass rusher. You're getting a tackler. You're getting a guy that can shove grown men to the ground. I watched him take down 2 offensive linemen, a center and a guard. I watched him bulldoze both of them to the ground, then make a tackle outside the tackle box on a running back. When I think of Quentin Williams, I think of Aaron Donald. That's it. I can't get any more simple than that. I think of Aaron Donald. And I think the Jets are looking to get more of a restart, but although they are also kind of winning now, they're in a win now mode. You know, they signed Le'Veon Bell, C.J. Mosley. They have a new coach. I think they still have Todd Bowles. Okay, yeah. So Greg Williams wants his own guy. He doesn't want to,
yeah. He's defensive minded coach.
Yeah. So I think that also, I'm going to address your point. With the Williamson, I don't think that's his strength. I don't think his strength is pass rushing. I think that they'd be misusing him. I think that also Devin White is kind of I don't know how to explain it. He's an expressive guy. I don't think an expressive guy would work good in a market like New York. I think he needs to be in his own little bubble, a team that has less of a market, less noise, more just all about football, going on the field and playing football. And I think Quentin Williams is the splash pick, and the Jets are restarting. They have, Sam Darnold, a guy that I like. I like Sam Darnold. They got Le'Veon Bell. They're restarting their defense, and they need to have a best guy available draft mentality. And Quentin Williams is the best player available after Bosa. One could argue he's better than Bosa. I wouldn't make that argument, but that's my pick, Quentin Williams.
I like that pick a lot. I mean, I try to do something different with this draft, but if I was going to go a real mock draft, not saying that this isn't, but like a really serious one, and like what I really think is going to happen, I definitely have Quentin Williams going to the Jets. He's one of the most athletic defensive tackles to come out of the draft in a while. And I do think his potential is out of the roof. So I think that's a great pick by you.
Thanks,
and so with the 4th pick in the draft, I still have Quentin Williams falling because, like I said, this is kind of a weird draft. But I got the Raiders taking Josh Allen. Not really much to say about this pick. They need defensive line help. They need a pass rusher just like the Niners.
Khalil Mack.
I think that we'll talk about that later. But I just think that Josh Allen is kind of like Jadeveon Clowney. Now, I'm not saying that they're the same, but I think Josh Allen is more athletic than skill, and I think that might scare a couple people. Just like that, the same thing happened to what's his name last year in the draft, the Redskins guy 2 years ago.
Um,
I
I
think
think
his name is Josh Allen too, right?
no, it's I mean I can't think. I'd have to go look it up. And
I think it's Josh Allen. His name was Josh Allen too.
anyways,
But I think that if that the fact that he's more athletic than technique guy is going to scare a couple teams. But I think the Raiders, if they don't trade up for a quarterback, they go Josh Allen and they make him their guy and add to a pretty scary defense.
yeah. So it's an interesting pick. I wouldn't go that route. I think that Josh Allen is the best pure outside pass rusher in this draft. 17 sacks his junior. Oh my God, he's a beast.
Hey, but he was playing in a not as competitive conference. Come on.
Yes, which I take that into consideration.
Uh-huh.
So with that in mind, I think Josh Allen is a little raw. He's a little raw. He's reminds me of kind of like DK Metcalf. You know, he's very very skilled athletically. I think he can be a force in this league. I think the Raiders are going to go a different route, and this is a surprising pick. When I was looking at my mock draft, I was like, that's one of the shocker picks that I think is going. I have Ed Oliver going to the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Defensive lineman, 287 pounds, 6'2", out of Houston.
Oh, he's a beast.
This guy, when he was when the mock draft first happened, Ed Oliver was at the top.
First
This
pick.
this guy is an athletic machine. I think it's when I was noticing it right, it's more of a trend now these days to have athletic interior defensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Williams, I see Ed Oliver as like a mini Quentin Williams. He's strong. He's big. He can get to the pass, or he can get to the quarterback. Excuse me. I have questions about his durability.
All right.
I don't know if he can stay healthy with the big 16-game season coming along. The reason why I don't have as much question about him as Quentin Williams, because Quentin Williams is more of a skill guy. He's Ed Oliver is very twitchy. He's very athletic. Likes to use athleticism over skill. But still, nonetheless, the Raiders they traded Khalil Mack. Not a fan of that move, by the way. So I could see Josh Allen as a viable option. However, I think Ed Oliver is a safer pick. When you have John Gruden for 10 years, and they got Antonio Brown, which I personally don't know what the Raiders are going for the direction, but to build for John Gruden's 10 years as the Raiders head coach, I think Ed Oliver is the best pick. He is not going to give you. He's not going to splash you away like Quentin Williams or change your franchise as much as Bosa, but he gives you a building block of a great pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can't get to the quarterback on the interior, your pass rush can get double teamed on the outside. Yeah. And Oliver is going to command a bunch of double teams. I think that his skill set fits perfectly with what the Raiders are doing going forward.
Yeah, Ed Oliver, like you said, he was the number one guy a couple months ago. And I wait till his pro day. His pro day is coming up. I think it's actually this weekend, or it's coming up though. And he's definitely gonna impress a lot of people. And he's gonna go from like mid 15, 17. I think he'll splash back into the top 10.
Top 10 easily.
He has a lot of potential. So strong, physical, great player. I like the pick.
One thing to add before you go on is that the reason why I have him sliding up to the top 5 is nobody thinks he's going top 10 from what I've seen so far, but he will rise. I have him going top 5 because of his potential. Yeah. This guy screams Aaron Donald as well. Quentin Williams and Ed Oliver, by the way, they're going to be a fun couple guys to watch, aren't they?
Yeah.
He screams Donald, and I think a new type of trend in the NFL is young quarterbacks with good systems. Offensive systems, defenses built from the interior spread out to the secondary. I think the secondary is becoming more obsolete, and I think that Ed Oliver is the best pick here.
So I have to go real quick for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So Jared, why don't we'll take a break from the mock draft, and I want you to explain your top 5 guys real quick. Your top 5 prospects.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so guys, so how I rank my prospects. I rank my prospects off of talent, production in college, and who I think is going to make a splash in the NFL the most. So I'm going by, who I think is going to make the biggest impact in the NFL for their teams. So this is in no order. I have Nick Bosa. I think, like I said, he's strong. He's fast. He's got all the skills you need to be a great pass rusher. Great first step, everything. He's a whole 9 yards. I think that he will be an instant 10-plus sack guy. I think he will get a lot of sacks. I think he will be a force to be reckoned with on the outside coming in. As an athlete, I'm not in love with him. Like his brother Joey Bosa, they're very technical. They rely more on their technique and their ability to get to the pass rusher from a technique standpoint rather than, muscles and, strength and speed and stuff. So he is, going to be a great pass rusher and a great talent. My second guy.
Now, Jared, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So I'm just explaining my criteria for my prospects is production in the NFL for future production in college, athleticism, and potential. My first guy was Nick Bosa. I don't think I need to go over it again. You've seen the tape. You know everything about Nick Bosa. My second guy, and this is in no order, the guy in this draft with the most talent, in my opinion, is Quentin Williams.
Okay.
This guy, I just can't. I've already talked about him. I'm just going to go over one last thing is the speed is ridiculous. I think that he will be one of the best interior linemen this game has ever seen. There's been a lot of Mean Joe Green. I think he will be along the lines of people like Mean Joe Green, Aaron Donald, other guys, man. He's got B.J. Jones, Reggie White, man.
No.
So, yeah. So, that's him. I already went over him. Talent, skill, everything. The next guy I have is DK Metcalf for my prospects. One of the best combines I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the Rich Eisen 40-yard dash. That was the best, man. That was the best.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf is, let me see if I got this right here. He is 6'3", so he's tall. He can grab jump balls. This guy, he's tall. He's like a mini Calvin Johnson. For those of you who don't know, Calvin Johnson was nicknamed Megatron. He's tall, strong. He's 228 pounds, so he's not heavy. He's not, he's not slow. I think he's around Mike Evans type speed, but he's faster. He's faster than Mike Evans. So you got the size, you got the speed, you got the combine. He bench pressed 27 times at the combine. That's
for wide receiver. Hasn't been done since 2003 or something. It's amazing.
My head. He had a pretty bad 3-cone drill. But that's not his skill set. He's not a route runner. He's more of a go route. I'm gonna take a top. Yeah, I'm gonna take a top off the defense kind of guy. So that's him. Talented, very talented. I think he's gonna be a little bit of a raw pass catcher to start with, but give him the right coach. I see a mix of AJ Green, Calvin Johnson,
Julio Jones,
a little bit of Mike Evans too. That was 3.
Okay.
The fourth I have. Wow, this is gonna be an interesting one. I have Montez Sweat. Now, this one is purely athleticism. I have not much faith in his skill in terms of technique. But Montez Sweat, look at this. He is 6'6" as a pass rusher, 260 pounds. An edge rusher is 260 pounds with 6'6" as his height.
I have a question though.
6'6".
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you. I like Montez Sweat, but I just don't really see a lot of speed pass rushers pan out like they people want them to. The only one in the recent memory that I could really think of that was like an all speed tall guy that really worked out was Julius Peppers, and that he was drafted in what, like 2003, 2001, 2004.
Yeah.
So I have some speculation on that. I think like if he could work on his technique, he could be really good, but have some doubts about it.
To build on what you just said, Montez Sweat was fast. In his combine, he was one of the faster defensive linemen.
What's the fastest?
I'm not. Yeah. He was fastest. So he's the fastest defensive lineman in the draft.
I think he was.
Now I don't know how his career is gonna pan out. I think that if he gets injured, he's gonna have a hard time recovering because he's so reliant on his athleticism. I wouldn't make this pick at all if I thought that if he had no athleticism, because his skill is very limited. But his pure athletic ability makes me put him in my top 5 prospects. I think he had great success in college. I'm a little spotty about his NFL career. I think he'll be a good player, not a great player.
Okay.
So that's Bosa, Quentin Williams. I got one more. Man, this one was tough. I was going back and forth, and I try and weigh my prospects by athleticism, potential for the NFL success, and college ability. So my number 5 guy is Greedy Williams. This is a guy that I wanted the Niners to draft back when they were winning too many games. They were not a top 5 pick at one point. They were, and Greedy Williams was the hype. Greedy Williams is a 6-foot plus quarterback. I think it was 180 plus pounds around there. So he's fast. He's fast. He's twitchy, which I like in a cornerback. He has resemblance of Sherman. Funny enough, he's tall, which is what Robert Saleh, the Niners defensive coordinator, wants. Tall cornerbacks. He's fast. I think that he had great success in college coming out of LSU. He's a guy that I want the Niners to get. They won't pick him up because they'll be getting a pass rusher most likely, unless they trade down. So Greedy Williams, for me, is a guy that if he can learn under Sherman on how to be a ball hawk, he has the athletic tools to be the best corner in football, and I say that with a straight face. I'm serious. He has guys like Jalen Ramsey to compete with, which Jalen Ramsey is a baller. He's got the one guy in the Bears, Kyler Fuller, I believe is his name.
He's a good corner. He had a breakout year last year. I want to say he's top 5 though.
Yeah. He reminds me a little bit of a smaller Darrelle Revis. Darrelle Revis is obviously one of the best ball hawking corners of all time. When it's all said and done, I think Greedy Williams has a chance to be a top 15 corner of all time if he can hone his ball hawking, abilities like Sherman has. But the athletic tools are there. So do you want to go back? So do you want to go back to the mock draft, or do you want to list your top 5 prospects?
I want to go back to the mock draft. We'll finish it, and then to end off the podcast, I will do my top 5 prospects in the draft.
I believe we're at the number 5 pick with the Buccaneers, right?
Yeah, and I'll let you start.
Okay. So I have them selecting Devin White. A little bit of variation here. You had White going to the Raiders, so it's not much difference.
Jets.
Yeah, Jets. Excuse me, Jets. They lost Quan Alexander. Not Niners, baby. We picked up Quan Alexander, and they lost a lot of guys on their defense.
They did.
They lost that one guy. I think his name was Humphreys or something Humphreys. Something with the Humphreys name in it.
Last receiver.
Yeah, or no, it was they lost a linebacker. I can't remember his name, but they lost 2 linebackers and they lost a defensive lineman. So their defense is horrid. Oh, I mean it's horrid. It was in the bottom. It was in the bottom 30 to 25 in yard in everything yards, points. So they need a cornerstone, and I think Devin White is the best defensive player in this draft that's left. You already went over it. Great tackler out of college, very fast, lightning fast. Kind of reminds me of a little bit more athletic version of Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly's he's slower and more, he's more up here than, right here.
I think Kuechly's this and this, not just speed.
Yeah,
I think,
well, he is more of, up here.
Yeah.
So I think Devin White would thrive in Tampa Bay. Not a huge market, but it's not a, it's not a Cincinnati. It's not a market that's gonna be too high or too low. It's gonna be a mix. I think that if he can just get his attitude a little bit more on a team level, I think he will be great inside linebacker. I hope he stays healthy. I hope that he can, because he's fun to watch. He reminds me a little bit of the Joel Embiid of the NFL. Fun to watch. Talks a lot of crap, backs it up, and I think the Buccaneers need to fill in their void for linebacker and start building up their defense, because they already got Gerald McCoy, Lavonte David on the inside. I think Devin White is the pick here.
Okay. I like that pick. So I finally have Quinnen Williams going. I think.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna explain like his intangibles and stuff. We already know that. We already know he's a great player. But I think he'd be a good fit for the Bucs as a replacement for Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy, he's 33, I think. He's getting up there in age, gonna retire soon. He could show him the roughness of the position. Be a good mentor for him for like 2 or 3 years, and then Quinnen Williams will take off. And I just think it's a good pick for the Bucs. I think they get one of the best players in the draft at number 4, which would be a steal. And
Five.
Nothing else to say about that.
It'd be at 5. The Bucs are picking 5th.
Oh yeah, Bucs are 5. My bad. Okay, yeah, 5. Yeah, I think nothing much more to say. Perfect fit. I want to say perfect fit, but I'd say it's a good fit, a replacement for Joe McCoy.
Quick thing to add before I go on. That is a steal at number 5.
For 5, that's a huge steal. Quinnen Williams is great.
Okay, so this one's gonna be the most boring pick outside of Kyler Murray at number 6. I originally had the Giants actually not taking a quarterback. I had them taking an edge rusher, because what I thought was they are going to have Eli for another season. Next year, that one guy, Tua, whatever his last name is, Tua was going to be their guy. I don't know if they like Tua, but I think that I'm not sure. This is my least. I'm not explaining it. I'm very scared about this pick. I don't know if it's going to happen, because the Giants have one of the worst GMs in football, and knowing them, will try to be too cute with their 6th pick.
Get him out of office. He's horrible.
But without further ado, I haven't taken Dwayne Haskins, 6'3" quarterback, 230 pounds, out of Ohio State. This guy he's a pocket passer. I mean, it's just simple as that. I like him more than Kyler Murray. One, he's bigger and taller. He's a better pocket passer. The Giants are not a flashy team. They have Saquon Barkley, they have Sterling Shepard, they have Evan Ingram. They have a couple of nice pieces. They need to address that offensive line, and I don't know how well Kyler Murray would stack up with that crappy of an O-line. He's small. He needs to build some pounds. Haskins weighs more. He's taller, which means he can see over the lineman. As a passer, he's better. Just better. There's no argument. He's a better passer.
No,
I would take him as a pocket passer in the pocket. I would take Haskins. His pro day was more impressive than Kyler Murray's. And I think Kyler Murray is a playmaker. I don't think he is as intelligent as Dwayne Haskins. And as a fit, I like him with the Giants more.
Okay, wow. Well, you're wrong about Kyler Murray. He didn't win the Heisman for nothing. Just saying. Did Dwayne Haskins win it?
What I said was I liked Haskins' pro day more.
Okay.
When I watched tape, I liked his motions more than I liked Kyler Murray's.
Okay. Well, with my pick for the Giants, I have them taking a quarterback too, but it's not Dwayne Haskins. I have them taking Drew Lock. I've been seeing it. I've been seeing the Drew Lock hype. I've been seeing it.
Wow.
People are saying he's a better leader. I think they're pretty similar. I think Dwayne Haskins is a little bit bigger, but I think the Giants. I think he kind of reminds me of Eli a little bit. So I think, sorry, I think Eli can mentor him for a year because I think Dwayne Haskins is going to want to start right away. I think Drew Lock won't mind sitting back, learning how to play his position a little bit better, and I think he'll be a great leader for the Giants. Not not hating on Haskins, but he had so many yards. He had a lot of yards this season, but a lot of them were products of screenplays. His running backs had got a lot of good big runs off screenplays. Don't forget that, okay? I'm not hating on Dwayne. I think he is the second best quarterback in the draft, but I think the Giants are going to go with Drew Lock.
Okay. I wrote notes down so I can address your points. With the leadership, I would have to disagree with you. From the reports that I've seen, and I've read some articles about Dwayne Haskins, he's a great leader. They like him as a leader. I still think Haskins will be benched under Eli. And let's not pretend like Eli is the best person to be mentoring Haskins in the world. Eli is obviously, to me, he's a Hall of Famer. 2-time Super Bowl MVP, one of the most clutch quarterbacks of all time. Not a great regular season quarterback. He is clutch, and you cannot disagree with that. Beat Tom Brady twice. 2-time Super Bowl MVP. I am not arguing that he is a top 10, top 15, or even top 20 quarterback of all time. But he is not in the top 20 of all time.
Okay.
He's not. I think he is a very risky bet to get into the Hall of Fame. Very risky. It's
Okay.
So
I want to argue about this, but I want to get it in a point. I just want to say something. Eli Manning has only made it to the playoffs twice. Now, granted, he won the Super Bowl both times, but he has only made it to the playoffs twice in his whole career. Just think about that. Not argue about it. Let's go on to the next pick with the Jags.
I have one last small little thing. The offensive line for his whole career. Go on.
Okay. The Jags, I don't think they take a quarterback. I think the Nick Foles signing was very dumb. I'm sorry. He showed that he could be great in the playoffs. He's old now. I mean, he's not super old, but I think it was dumb. They paid him a lot of money. I think they should have traded up and got a player in this draft, if you ask me. They're still young. It's not like, I mean, they have some older players, but it's not like they have to be in win-win mode right now. They could wait a year or two and let the quarterback progress. But so if they're going to pick up Nick Foles in free agency, they're going to need people to protect him.
Okay.
They have Andrew Norwell. They have the center. What's his name? Lindor, I think is his name.
Lindor.
I think they take the tackle, Jawan Taylor in the draft. I think he's a great prospect. I think him or Jonah Williams are the best tackles in the draft, or Andre Dillard, but I have them going with Jawan Taylor.
Okay. I love that pick, by the way. We disagree about Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles is a fantastic backup. I think he's a very decent to pretty good starter. He beat the Bears in the championship game.
Yep.
Beat the Bears. Last year, he beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, something that as a Brady, I like Brady. I hate the Patriots. So I see you with Taco Bell. I hate the Patriots, but I like Brady, so I wasn't happy about that. But
Add about Nick Foles though. This could be for further argument that we could do in another podcast. But could we just outright and say it? He was just a product of the Eagles' offense. Can we just say that?
I was about to get to that point. Let me get my point about Nick Foles, and then I'll get to my point. From what I've been watching a lot of. I'm a First Take fan. I watched a lot of First Take. Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, Will Kane. And I agree with Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman was pointing out how great of a leader Nick Foles is. Nick Foles is a better leader than Carson Wentz.
I could agree.
Guys in the locker room love Nick Foles. He's easier to coach. He's less talented than Carson Wentz, but because of that, he's easier to coach.
I could agree with that.
Now, the offense was built around Carson Wentz, right? Mm-hmm. So when Nick Foles was the quarterback, the offense stayed around the same, but they simplified the offense for Nick Foles because Nick Foles doesn't need to have all these fancy plays. So I think Nick Foles was a good signing. I think he won't win him a Super Bowl, probably not. But let's not forget, the Jaguars did make it to the AFC Championship game last season with Blake Bortles as their quarterback. They kept the same defense. Take Nick Foles and Blake Bortles. Who's better? Nick Foles. It's not even close. All right, let me get to my point. Let me get to my pick. I'm taking DK Metcalf. I think that the Nick Foles signing was indicative that DK Metcalf is a lock for the Jaguars. Yes, that's right. A lock. They don't have very good receivers. They were close to last in yards accumulated by the receivers last year. That's part of it is Bortles. Part of it is the receivers. They had injuries. Allen Hurns is gone. They had some injuries at wide receiver. That one guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my tongue. Who?
Keenan Cole.
Keenan Cole, yes. DK Metcalf he's a playmaker. Yep. Nick Foles, he has strong arm, likes to throw down the field. I think DK Metcalf is perfect for what Nick Foles and the Jaguars want to do. Obviously, now here's what my thing about it is that they're a really run-heavy team. They got Leonard Fournette. They want to pound the ball. They want to keep going, pound, 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 pound. But DK Metcalf will give someone Nick Foles to throw the ball to. And I ultimately think that his talent is a steal at number 7 for the Jaguars because they're getting a guy that can catch passes. He can block. He can block.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's strong. It's a value pick. I don't like taking skill positions like that too high in the draft. But I think DK Metcalf is a once in he's a rare guy. You're not gonna find a guy that talented. Yeah. I think the Nick Foles signing made me rethink my process about how the Jaguars were gonna run this offseason.
I like that. I actually like that pick a lot. So with the 8th pick, and let me point in to all you viewers out there that are still watching right now. Thank you for continue to watch us.
Yeah, this is fun.
Any comments or if you disagree with anything, leave it in the comment section. We love to argue with you guys, not in a bad way. It's gonna be a nice argument.
A nice lively discussion in the comments.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts or feelings, put it down low. Make sure that if you're a Niners fan,
drop a like.
But yeah, just drop a like. It's free. It's easy. We'll get there. Drop a comment, and if you feel like expressing your opinion. But yeah, cool. Go on.
Okay, that was plug for the day. Okay, with the 8th pick in the draft, I got the Detroit Lions taking Greedy Williams. I agree with a lot of things you said about him earlier. I think he's a great cornerback. I think he's kind of like Denzel Ward from last year. Not the same as that guy, but I think their body type is a little bit the same, and I think their potential is both the same. And so I think, they have Darius Slay right now, who's so underrated. Top 5 corner in the league for sure. And he's getting up there in age. Greedy Williams and Darius Slay will be holding it down in Detroit, especially now that
let's argue top 10 for Slay. 5 is a little.
Okay, we'll say top 10, but still, that'll definitely be one of the more scarier teams to go up against defensively if they pick up Greedy Williams. I think he played great at LSU this year, and I think he was one of the guys I wanted the Niners to get to, but I just don't want to take him that high in the draft because I think he has a little bit of flaws, stuff he can work with. But overall, I think it's a great fit for the Lions. And they get a future corner for them.
That was one of my favorite picks from you. I like it, and it's making me rethink my pick a little bit, but I'm sticking to it. I have Montez Sweat going to the Lions. They lost Ziggy Ansah in free agency.
Mhm.
I'm aware they signed Trey Flowers. But I think that aligned with Montez Sweat and Trey Flowers is that scares the shit out of me. And I say that because who do they got to go up against in the division? You got Aaron Rodgers, a mobile quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, a mobile quarterback. I think that me personally, I think Montez Sweat would work better with what the Lions are trying to do. They're trying to get a pass rush.
Can you re-say that, Jared? Sorry, somebody called me.
Yeah. So I like how Montez Sweat fits with the Lions more. He's the most athletic defensive lineman or offensive lineman, period, in this whole entire draft. I think that he fits better than Greedy Williams, although Greedy Williams is a pretty sick pick at number 8. Is it 8? I think ultimately, Montez Sweat is he's a value pick at number 8, and he's a guy that's going to fit nicely with Trey Flowers. They're going to have a nice pass rush. Still don't think they'll win the division. They got the Packers, Bears, but yeah, that's my pick. It's more of a value pick, 6'6", 260, athletic freak.
I like that pick a lot, actually. And so rounding it with pick 9, I got the Bills taking DK Metcalf. You had him going a little earlier than me. I don't disagree with your pick. I like him on the Jags. I think he's a perfect fit for the Bills. Josh Allen, he's probably got one of the strongest arms in the NFL already. I can see him as a deep go. Huh?
Hands down.
Hands down. I don't see him as a very accurate guy. So I think he could be pretty accurate downfield if he wanted to, especially with the arm strength. So I think DK Metcalf is the perfect fit for them. They already have Zay Jones, which he's a very good wide receiver. I think he's very underrated.
Oh, very.
And so I think Zay Jones is pretty good. So I think he could be more of like a slot guy, and DK Metcalf is going to be the deep route.
Okay. Good pick. Actually, really good pick. I like your picks. We think differently. I think that success is built in the trenches. And so I'm thinking that the Bills, they signed Cole Beasley, and they signed another guy, John Brown. I believe his name John Brown. So I don't think they're going to go. I think I had the Bills taking offensive tackle Juwan Taylor at number 9.
Okay,
they
I like
have
that.
A trash offensive line, one of the worst in the league, and the best thing to do to help a quarterback is protect his blind side.
Yes.
Move inside. He can play inside and play guard. It's not his strength. Mm-hmm. He's a tackle. He can play outside. 6'5", that's big. 312 pounds from Florida. I think that to help an inaccurate quarterback, you have to give him protection. And receivers can get open if the quarterback has enough time to make his reads and go through his progressions. Juwan Taylor, to me, is the best tackle in the draft. I originally had Jordan Williams as better, but, combines happen and stock goes down. And I think he's more athletic than Jordan Williams. And I think that if you look at the best teams in the NFL, they either have good offensive lines or great offensive lines. Patriots have a really good offensive line. The Rams have a good offensive line. Who else? You got the Cowboys, good offensive line. I hate Cowboys, but still.
Ever. Yeah. Cowboys well.
So I think that he's a nice piece, and I bet you're surprised I haven't picked Josh Allen yet, but I think is a better fit.
I'm not, actually. I like your pick a lot. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Allen fell out of the top 10, only because he's, like I said, more athletic than technique. And I think that's going to scare a lot of teams. But let's go on to pick 10, the last pick in our mock draft, the Broncos. We all know what they need. They need a quarterback. Joe Flacco is not going to be holding it down for the Broncos for that long.
No, he's not.
And they get their guy. I think they would have picked Locke if he was still there. But the fact that Haskins falls into their lap and they didn't have to trade up is beautiful. I think John Elway right away gives his job to Goodell, and he probably is going to have the greatest night that night. knowing that he just got Haskins with the 10th pick.
Wow, that's a steal.
That's a steal. Yeah. That's a steal, but I think that pick is very it could happen. I think it could happen.
So obviously Haskins is off my board.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going quarterback actually. I think that Drew Lock to me is the best quarterback available. I don't think he's gonna win you a Super Bowl. I don't think he's very talented. I think they're gonna wait. They wouldn't sign Joe Flacco to a contract for no reason. They're gonna play him out, which is to me a dumb move, but they're gonna play him out. So I was stuck between two guys. I think that there's no real superstar receiver talents left in the draft. You got AJ Brown. You got I originally had him taking Noah Fant, tight end, but I think they're gonna build up a defense. I think it's a little bit. This is gonna be probably my most questionable pick, considering they already have Von Miller and Chubb, but I think they're going now. See, I was struggling back and forth. I was struggling. Should I go Josh Allen? But no, I'm not going Josh Allen. Josh Allen for me slides out of the top 10. And it's not because of his lack of anything. It's because there are so many talented guys in the top 10 and need trumps talent. Teams need. So I am taking Rashawn Gary, defensive lineman, 6'4", 277 pounds from Michigan.
Okay.
Interior pass rusher. They already got Vaughn and Chubb on the outside. Chubb is a beast. If anybody watched Chubb, he's a beast. Rashawn Gary is the second most athletic pass rusher behind Sweat. What made me choose him over Allen was scheme and fit. I think that he will be. I think I have questions about his athleticism. Can he stay healthy? He's not very fast. He's kind of twitchy, which I don't like linemen that are twitchy. I like linemen that are very focused and have good technique, like Bosa, Quentin Williams. So I think 6'4", he's huge. He can hone his Von Miller. If there's anybody that can teach him, it's Von Miller. Von Miller is going to go down as top 10 pass rusher of all time, maybe top 5.
Top 5, yeah.
So Rashawn Gary to me is a very safe pick. I don't think John Elway is a great GM/owner. Brock Osweiler. Don't get me started on Brock Osweiler. Joe Flacco, that's a crap signing as well. Their coach, what is his name? I'm blanking for the coach. Who?
Joe.
Oh, Vic Fangio. Yes, he's a defensive
coordinator for the Niners when we were in our heyday.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
he's a guru. Man, not my day today. He's a very talented defensive coach. So I think Rashawn Gary to me is the best pick here.
I like your pick a lot too because, like you said, he's a defensive-minded coach. The only thing that scared me with picking a quarterback so high is he's not going to know how to work with the quarterback. Let's be honest. Rookie quarterbacks don't like defensive-minded coaches, and so we'll see. I like the pick though. Rashawn Gary, very athletic. He's a beast.
So you want to get to your top 5 prospects?
To end the podcast, I'm going to do my top 5 prospects in the draft. This is the people who I think have the most potential. Okay, these are the people, and it's going to be in order. I'm gonna go pretty fast because we've said a lot of things about all of them. So I'm just going to give the order, and then we'll wrap up our first ever podcast. So I'll start with 5. I think the 5th best prospect in the draft with the most potential is Josh Allen. Not going to say much about it. I just think if he could get into his zone, he could be a hell of a player. Number 4, I got Devin White. I can see Devin White as a premier middle linebacker in the league. Maybe Patrick Willis, maybe like C.J. Mosley. I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Number 3, I got Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray could be a stud in the NFL with the right tools around him. I think he can be amazing. I think you don't even have to put the right tools around him year 1. Give it a little bit.
Can I throw in a little thing there? I'm a Dwayne Haskins guy. I think that the reason why I separate him above Murray is that you don't have to build a system around excuse me. In order for Murray to succeed, in my opinion, you have to make him his own system. Haskins can thrive to me in any system. Haskins, tell me, is it easier to fit a pocket passer into a system, or is it easier to fit a scrambling quarterback? That's it. That's my only trepidation about it.
We'll talk about that later. I think that's a good argument for another podcast, though. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I got Nick Bosa. What can I say? Nick Bosa is amazing. Great technique. I think he might be better than his brother. Number 1, last year, who was the guy that everybody was saying was a lock for the Hall of Fame already without even being drafted?
Man, I'm trying to think. There was a lot of good guys, but go on with it.
No, it was the guard from the Colts.
You got a Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson, yep. Before he was even drafted, everyone's saying he's a for sure Hall of Famer. And look he played great his first year.
He did.
And who's the guy this year that is already getting said that he's going to be a for sure Hall of Famer? Quinnen Williams. To me, he's the best prospect in the draft. I would love the Niners to get him. I think the Niners are going to draft off of needs, though, and I don't think we're desperately in need of an interior lineman. But I think Quinnen Williams is just going to be a beast in the NFL.
Okay, so wrapping up on my mock draft order, I got Kyler Murray to the Cardinals, Nick Bosa to the 49ers, Quinnen Williams to the Jets, Ed Oliver to the Raiders, Devin White to the Buccaneers, my man Dwayne Haskins to the Giants, DK Metcalf to the Jags, Montez Sweat to the Lions, Juwan Taylor to the Bills, Rashawn Gary to the Broncos.
I really love your draft. Mine, like throw in the dark kind of draft, is I have Kyler Murray to the Cardinals, Nick Bosa to the Niners, Devin White to the Jets. I got Quinnen Williams going to the Bucs. I got the Giants taking the surprise pick in Drew Lock. I had the Jags up in their offensive line taking Juwan Taylor. I had the Lions holding it down with their quarterback situation taking Greedy Williams. I had the Bills taking what could be the next Megatron or Julio Jones and DK Metcalf. And to round it off in the last pick in our 1 to 10 mock draft, I had the Broncos taking Dwayne Haskins.
Who did you got for the Raiders again?
The Raiders, I got them taking Josh Allen.
Okay, good. So, guys, it's just a nice fun time. We came here. We gave our opinions about who we think is going to go on our mock draft. I think for the most part, you and I agree with what's valuable in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Young coaches, young quarterbacks, good schemes, interior pass rush. I think I value athleticism a tiny bit more than you. I think that defensive lines are very important, and the only pick I have a problem with is that Dwayne Haskins falling out to 10. But other than that, picks are pretty good, man.
Yours too.
If you guys got any comments, questions, concerns, put it on the comment section. We'll answer any questions, or we can have a debate. We can do whatever. We can have some fun, man. We're talking about sports and mock draft. Our next podcast will be soon. Keep you guys posted on our Instagram. You can find our first podcast link in the post to Instagram, and stay tuned for some more podcasts.
Stay tuned. Don't be a Mike McCarthy. Have a great, wonderful day.
See you guys.
Stay George Kittle. Let's go.
Niners, baby.
Niners all day, baby.